Good evening and thanks for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Amanda Rowley. Mark and Whitney are off tonight. We are tracking new information tonight from breaking news over explosives in Airway Heights. Today, a woman was charged in the case. Our Connor McAvoy spent several hours on scene in Airway Heights yesterday, and he was in court this afternoon for the latest developments. Connor?
Well, I'm right outside Spokane County Court where the woman in this case faced a Spokane County judge. Now, this all stems from originally when police were investigating her apartment for a completely separate incident. Now, the police affidavit says Airway Heights police were assisting Stevens County Sheriff's deputies in a search warrant yesterday at Angela Andre Miller's apartment on a fraud case. When arriving, the document says they were aware of a history she has of other crimes. Spokane County court records show Andres Miller was charged in 2016 for multiple counts of identity theft. The affidavit reads, police found one IED or improvised explosive device in her bedroom and 7 others recovered in her car. While questioning her, the document says Andres Miller first stated she had no idea of any bombs in her apartment. She then said she kept her bedroom locked, where the document reads she kept drugs such as methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia. The affidavit goes on to say Andres Miller later stated she was writing a novel about a U.S. Marshal, saying she looked up how to make fireworks online. Once the police spoke with her, they evacuated the building for several hours while they investigated the area. I was at the apartment complex for hours yesterday afternoon and evening and saw parts of the investigation unfold. Now, Andres Miller is charged with 8 counts of incendiary devices possession. Retired Spokane County Judge Vance Peterson made the ruling.
I'm going to require the defendant to post a bond of $62,250 on each count, which I believe comes up to $500,000 the total was requested by the prosecution, and that is in the interests of community safety based on the egregiousness of the event.
One bond at that amount of $62,250 for each count adds up to $498,000, just shy of what the prosecution asked for. Now, we're still learning more information about this case, and we don't know yet when her next court appearance will be. We'll continue following the story as we learn more information. In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
A status hearing for the lawsuit against Inland Power and Light regarding damages from the Gray Fire last year was supposed to happen today, but was postponed. 62 insurance companies filed that lawsuit alleging Inland Power knew a light was a fire risk and did nothing to fix it. A DNR report released in August 2023 says a Medical Lake resident says they called Inland Power multiple times about the flickering outdoor light. They worried that a wire was possibly loose. The Gray Fire killed 1 person and caused more than $4 million in damages. The new status hearing for this lawsuit is scheduled for February 7th. Well, there's more rain headed our way for the weekend, but in the valleys, we're not likely to see snow. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo joins us now for a preview of your forecast. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Amanda.
Hey.
I do think we wind up seeing a little bit of snow. Right now, you're going, what do you mean? There it is. Remember last night when I was like 32, 32, 32? Today, we were up in the mid-30s. Now, we're starting to cool down as the cold sector of the storm arrives, and rain is already starting to transition into snow out at the airport. That is a big deal because as temperatures continue to drop, we are likely going to see a little bit more snow. That's great news if you want snow. If you really want it, just head up into the mountains. Our winter weather advisories remain in effect through tomorrow morning for that heavy snow continuing to fall. Off to the north, it is still coming down as snow. Those dead spots in the radar are not where you are not seeing anything. It's just where we have a dead spot in the radar due to our geography. But look what's happening down to the south. This is where things get interesting. Snow is filling in across the Palouse. Snow is filling in on I-90 west of Spokane, and snow then moves in here and starts spreading its way through Spokane, Spokane Valley, Liberty Lake, then to Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene. I think it's going to creep its way from west to east as we move through the next couple of hours. Less than an inch is what you're going to get. Tomorrow, we dry out and you might just see some sun in the afternoon. Sunday, another round of showers starts the day.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. Coeur d'Alene police are investigating a shooting tonight and want to know if anyone has information about it. The shooting happened today at the 76 gas station in the 1700 block of West Appleway Avenue. When police responded, they found both parties involved still at the scene. One person was taken to the hospital with at least one gunshot wound. They believe the shooting may have been over a property dispute. Anyone who was at the 76 gas station and has information about the shooting is asked to call the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. In national news, Speaker Mike Johnson, the Republican from Louisiana, won another term leading the House this morning. He emerged victorious from a close election in the lower chamber of the 119th Congress. Johnson needed 218 votes to secure the gavel, and at first it appeared he'd fall 2 votes short. But then the 2 holdouts emerged on the House floor and changed their votes. Only 1 Republican voted against Johnson. His victory means the GOP majority can move on to other matters, including counting the Electoral College votes on Monday.
Very much hoping that I become a member of Congress today.
And after an uncertain start with the House Speaker, Eastern Washington's new Congressman Michael Baumgartner was sworn into office in D.C. today. Baumgartner fills the seat held for 20 years by Kathy McMorris Rodgers. He brought his whole family on the floor of the U.S. Capitol today to witness his swearing in. This was almost delayed due to a turbulent House Speaker vote this morning. Well, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies are expressing concern about possible copycat attacks. This after the deadly New Year's Day vehicle ramming in New Orleans that killed 14 people and wounded dozens of others. The FBI and other agencies issued an intelligence bulletin overnight warning of possible copycat attacks, writing, "This tactic is likely to remain attractive for aspiring attackers, given vehicles' ease of acquisition and the low skill threshold necessary to conduct an attack." The FBI released new surveillance images showing improvised explosive devices in coolers. They say the killer planted them in the French Quarter shortly before he intentionally drove a truck into the crowd. Jabbar's younger brother, Abdurrahim, who requested that we hide his face, says he noticed his brother becoming more outwardly religious, but said he saw nothing to suggest Jabbar was being radicalized.
I think he took a step away from the religion at some point in his life, and then he came back into it.
The White House says President Biden and the First Lady will visit New Orleans on Monday. Now to the investigation of the Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas. Authorities say an active duty U.S. Army soldier took his own life. He did this before allegedly causing his rented truck to explode outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on Wednesday. Police identified the driver as 37-year-old Matthew Leibelsberger. He was a member of the elite Green Beret and a new father. Leibelsberger's family in Colorado told CBS News his wife hadn't heard from him in days and that he had no signs of extremist beliefs or mental health issues.